There's no such thing as being all good or being all bad. Satellite reality theory, SRT, uses a substrate or mechanics for the system to link. Those mechanics is recursion or recursion loops. Those recursion loops can be either maladaptive or coherent based on the perception of the receiver and their nervous system. Now, coherence probably feels like, sounds like heaven or a dream, or like the best fantasy you could ever fantasize. Our best version of life that you could imagine. But it's not. It's work. It's work to stay in alignment. Because the moment you fall out of alignment, you fall out of coherence. You fall into maladaptive recursion. And how long you stay in that maladaptive recursion depends on the type of recursion loop and how many other loops that loop has created, as well as if you have the location, are able to tune in and resonate with data sets such as grace, favor, mercy, things that we call protective energies. But you have to have those before you fall out of alignment, so that when you fall out of alignment, that falling doesn't disrupt your overall coherence, but it's a temporary disruption of your coherence, following you into a maladaptive recursion loop. And when you're in that maladaptive recursion loop, depending on it, the only way to get out of that, to get back into alignment, is to break the loop. But you also have to break all of the other loops that were created from that loop. Loops with other people, friends, associates, jobs, loops with ideas, loops with point of views, break loops with places that are associated with that maladaptive recursion loop. You have to break the loops that are connected to that loop in order to break the maladaptive loop. Once you break the maladaptive loop, you can return to alignment or to coherence. Now, as you can see, that this loop works both ways. So if you're in a maladaptive recursion, you can choose to be, if you're understand how, if you're more aware, you can choose to have moments of coherence, or you can inadvertently end up in moments of alignment, which give you moments of temporary coherence. And in those moments of temporary coherence, you receive expansive ideas. But you take those expansive ideas and filter them through your contracted maladaptive nervous system, and you materialize them as maladaptive behaviors, they're materialized as maladaptive in the world. Behaviors, associations, connections, and things of that like that. So you can have these moments where you have coherence even when you're in a maladaptive coherent recursion. But that doesn't mean that you're now in coherence or in alignment. You have temporary moments of having coherence in a maladaptive recursion loop. But once you break the maladaptive recursion loop and get into alignment, once you're in alignment, you'll know when you're getting to alignment, and that is why we have these moments of temporary coherence. Those are your confirmations to let you know if you're able to be aware. Okay, I'm on the right path to breaking this maladaptive loop. But you have to be aware. A lot of us are not aware. You have to break the loop today, or the pattern will continue tomorrow, or the pattern will continue. You have to break the loop now, or the pattern will continue. But you have to be aware of the loop to be able to break the loop, and also be aware of when you're doing what's right to break the loop, and start paying attention more to those different ideas and thoughts that you're tuning into, and how you are materializing those thoughts in this reality. Are those thoughts materializing? You will know them by their fruits. Are they materializing with maladaption, or are they materializing coherence in the collective? You will know them by their fruits. You know yourself by your fruits. So even though your system may be regulated in maladaptive recursion, because that's what, when you're uh, in that contracted state of consciousness, you're still conscious, but it's a contracted state of consciousness. Until you get into that expansive state of coherence, of alignment. So yes, it's work. And no, there's no such thing as being all good and all bad. What we really want to shoot for is balance. You know what I'm saying? It's balance. But balance does not look the same for everybody, and I will get into that later. Each of us needs to make different adjustments to balance our coherence, because your coherence is not based on another person's coherence. What regulates and stabilizes your nervous system is going to be what feels safe to you. But sometimes what feels safe to you is maladaptive. So you have to pay attention and be aware of the fruits that are materializing from what you're rendering in reality. The subjective experience and the objective experience of your thoughts. And be aware too, when you're experiencing your thoughts, a lot of us are not aware that we're experiencing our thoughts until a very far down the line. And you were thinking like, oh, I thought about this and wow, it's happening. That happens all the time. And you can, if you tune into it more, you can be aware of it more. And the more aware of it you are, the more alignment you can be. The more you can hear the word of the Most High and obey the word of Most High, and be in alignment and be in coherence and live in a beautiful heavenly world. But also remember, incoherence, that's temporary. You can also fall out of coherence into maladaptive recursion, because everybody is not perfect. So even when you are in your coherent recursion, you're going to have times when you fall into out of alignment. Things are going to happen. Life's going to happen. People are going to happen. You're going to run into certain situations that you have no control over, that are going to knock you out of alignment. But your job is to be aware of that, catch that, do what's necessary to bring yourself back into alignment, and then ultimately be back into a coherent loops and live in an expansive heavenly life on earth. I love y'all. SRT, Satellite Reality Theory. Please look it up on Sonoto. It's hard to look up, but if you look up on the on my FYP, on my profile, you'll see a couple of posts. The link is in there. Go to the link, check out the Satellite Reality Theory conceptual model, and let's all get expansive, and let's all connect, and let's all be more responsible, you know what I'm saying, conscious individuals living in this reality together, prospering, building, growing.